Hi, folks. I have no idea what I'm going to say. That's what Wendy was asking me while we were waiting here to go
Our
live.
teaser.
Is
Tiny house
what,
teaser.
what are you going to say? So I know folks out there have seen the tiny home craze, and would it actually work to help with affordable housing? Well, we've got that answer
Yes, we
with
do.
our great guest that's coming up right after this. Hi, folks. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Bill Fairman. This is Wendy Sweet. We are Carolina Capital Management, and welcome to the Passive Wealth Show. Don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and hit the bell. We have comment section, by the way, on the right side of the screen or underneath, depending on the platform that you are viewing us from. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put that in there. What else? Oh, we are a lender, by the way.
Yeah. And we have a fund.
We lend money in the Southeast to real estate investors. So if you're looking to borrow money, go to carolinahardmoney.com and click on the Apply Now tab. If you're a passive investor looking for passive returns, click on the Accredited Investor tab. By the way, we just released a longer term
residential and even
buy
multifamily.
and hold permanent loan.
Yeah. For up to 30 units, I think is what it is.
And we're talking rates that are starting in the mid upper fours.
Yeah.
So not bad. All right. That said, make sure that you comment nicely. And if you have any questions,
some of you are just so mean.
All right, let's get this train wreck started. We have a great guest, Jesse Russell. He and a friend of ours, Ryan Andrews, have started this group to build tiny homes, and not just individuals, but apartments as well.
Yeah.
It's an awesome idea, and municipalities love this too, especially on the apartment side of things, because they are trying to push us to be more clustered, because the closer they can push us all,
the more COVID will grow.
The less expenses that they have on. Oh, look, our brother is watching.
Oh yeah, our brother Mark Fairman's there. Hey, Mark.
Yeah, he's obviously not fishing. He's at work.
Finally.
Supposed to be working.
That's right. But anyway, we're talking about tiny houses.
Yeah. So anyway, clustering, putting people closer together, it saves money for the municipalities because all the services are in closer proximity. They don't have to spread out with all that.
That's right.
So they like a little more closeness. So we can all get along.
Which will be a nice change from what we've had over the past year and a half at this point,
This
right?
is true. So without further ado, let's bring Jesse on. Jesse, thank you so much for joining us.
Bill, Wendy, how are you guys?
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on the show.
Most people don't ask us how we're doing. They just figure we're nuts.
You seem pretty sane so far. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, you've just met us.
Jury's still out.
It's true. It's true.
So I have to ask you, how'd you come up with the name Hiatus Homes?
Well, it's interesting. I grew up, I'm from Bend, Oregon. That's where we have our business, which is in the Cascade Mountains here in Central Oregon. I grew up here, went to school for journalism. Long story short, ended up in Los Angeles, California, working as a reality TV producer. I did it for about 10 years and was really just a little bit fed up with my career and really wanted to get back to my roots, get back to Bend. It's a beautiful town here. We have a lot of, beautiful camping and snowboarding and fly fishing and what have you. And I was at a crossroads really, and I had done pretty well in my career as a reality TV producer, but feeling like I needed to, figure something else out in my life. So I was pitching. One of my jobs as a producer was to pitch to networks different show ideas and get ideas from them that they were looking for. And I went to a network, and they were going to launch their network with a show called Tiny House Nation. I had never heard of tiny houses before. I went back to my office, and these were the tiny houses on wheels. And I looked at it and I thought, this is my key back to Bend. So I sold all my stuff. I took a hiatus, long story short on the word, but I took a hiatus from my career and went home to build that first tiny house. And and the name just stuck. That was the first house we built was called the Hiatus, and then the first development we did was the Hiatus, and now we have Hiatus Homes, and we also have a construction fund called the Hiatus Fund, so a capital fund. I don't know. The name just kind of kept rolling with me, I guess. It's also, the name applies to kind of what we try to do with our communities. We want people to feel at ease and on a hiatus while they're living in our homes.
What amazes me, I think the most, while I was reading one of the articles written about what you've been doing, is the price point it's crazy. So I'm doing some tiny home stuff for Airbnb, and we are picking up homes at, $15,000-$20,000. That's the right price.
These have wheels on them.
Yeah, but I cannot believe the price, not only the price point that you're in, but how luxurious they are and spacious.
You.
I think the thing that jumped out the most as the 6-foot ceiling in a loft that's incredible. They're just beautiful. You do a beautiful job with what you're doing.
Well, thank you. It's been an interesting journey, because we did start with tiny houses on wheels, and I naively thought that the state and the city would really embrace that type of housing, because we are in a crazy affordable housing crisis in Bend, and I think nationally we're seeing that too. People can't afford homes anymore, especially entry-level homes, which, as you know, the sooner you start your ownership in your life, the better off you are as you move towards retirement. And I think it's a really essential thing that people with their first, second jobs are able to afford houses. Here in Bend, also, I think the bartenders and the lift ops and those type of people, they make Bend what Bend is. And so to drive them out because of cost of housing, that was really, where we started at. In 2015, the city adopted the cottage code, which basically allows us to do any size we wanted, any size lot and any size house. It just had to be on a foundation. And all these problems that we had struggled with while we were on trailers went away. We could now get mortgages, we could now get insurance, and they just essentially became, a house in all respects, just a small house. And so that was a real game changer for us. And I was never really hooked. I was never really so concerned about it being on a trailer. Really, to me, it was the efficiency of space and just seeing that people were willing to live in that space. So it's been a really interesting journey. And we don't just do 600 square foot houses. We have a 900 square foot house we're doing. We also do micro apartments, which is a new project that is coming up next year. So it's been quite a ride.
Well, I know that one of the items that the municipalities didn't care about with the being on wheels part is that they like to get tax revenue. And
right.
If it's on wheels, it's going to be taxed as a titled vehicle, and they go down in value, not up.
Yeah.
And they were going to have a hard time taxing that. That's one of the reasons most municipalities hate mobile home parks, because they've got they got school buses picking up 60 kids, and they're getting like $2,500 in tax revenue out of the place.
So tell me, how did you get your financing put into place in your first deal? That had to be the hardest thing to overcome.
That was absolutely the hardest thing. I was completely naive to two things when I started this. One was financing, and the other was building code. And Ryan Andrews, who you mentioned as my partner, basically, I had a friend that he was really a boss of mine in my 20s, and we were trying to figure out how we could do tiny houses on wheels on a lot, 4 houses. That's all we wanted to do, and we got written up in the paper. And I got a call from my old boss, and he's a big developer out here now. And he called me and said, "Hey, I think I have this piece of land that would be perfect for what you're trying to do." And I went to look at 3 acres, and I was like, "No way! I'm going to do 4 houses. This is a 22 unit." Huge development. I can't do this. And he said, "Hey, listen, I'll help you do it. I think you can do it. I think there's a market for this." And so I started on that road, and quickly got to the point where it was like, oh, how do you pay for all this? I'm a new developer. I had some personal money, but I sure as hell didn't have enough to, to pay for the lots or do any of that. And I met Ryan. Ryan was working at Trueline Capital, which is a lender here in town. I met his boss at the time, and he said, "Hey, I can't lend you money for the dirt. It's too risky. That's not what we do. But I have two guys that I work with that are really smart, and I bet they could help you out." And so I bought Ryan and Jeff. We worked with lunch, and every 2 weeks we hit the whiteboard. And at the end of kind of seeing the pro forma, I used to call them pro formas. I was that ignorant. And then they basically spit out a number, and Ryan said, "No big deal. You're gonna have to do this with equity because you're not going to get debt on this, and you need to go raise $1 million." And I was just like, "Holy, there's no way." My mom's a single bartender, right? I didn't have access to that kind of capital at all. But luckily, I just hit the ground and just called people, and people just came out of the woodwork really liking the idea. And we were offering a huge return because it was so risky. And one of the proudest moments of my life really was doing the whole development, and then being able to send those checks to the people that believed in the project. And they got 20+% returns IRR on the project. So it was an amazing financial success, and that's what led us to our next two developments, and then to create the Hiatus Capital Fund. After having struggled to try to raise the money for the dirt, and talking to Ryan, I said to Ryan, I know you're doing this other stuff. What do you think about teaming up with me? And I've got 2 projects coming up, and I think we should start a fund. So we're able to mitigate some of the risk, because the real risk for the developer is, you find this land and you take debt on it, and you're not able to do the project, and or the city is taking 2 months to approve your project or whatever, and you're burning all this interest. So the fund really became this thing where we wanted to be able to buy dirt, we wanted to be able to develop the lots, and then we'd get construction loans for the houses. And we really tell all of our investors that are in that fund, we really want to have the ability, if something happens and things dip, that we can pause and we still own the land, and we can come back when things come back. And it's really just trying to mitigate risk. Right now, we're in a crazy real estate situation in Bend, and I the first Hiatus home, the 600 square foot house, we sold it for $230,000, and then a year and a half later, the last house got resold for $380,000.
Wow.
And I'd hate for you to do the calculation on the square footage cost on that. So I think you had talked about this as affordable housing, and we're trying to do affordable housing by design. And I don't think we've hit that yet, but it's because of what's going on in the market. And that's why we started the micro apartments, because we think that'll be a bit of a silver bullet for workforce housing.
Sure.
That's awesome. You've got something you can share with us. I know people would need to see what the pictures look like.
Sure. If we can just take that back to the first page. Or do I do that?
Let's see.
Does that work if I go backwards?
Yeah, you have to do that. You control your PDF.
There you go.
There we go. Can you guys see that?
Yeah,
Yep.
It looks awesome.
Okay, so that's our first development. That's the Hiatus Benham. This was 22 units, 22 lots. This is a really different type of housing too. And the reason that cities have started to approve this is because they're looking for density. As you guys were mentioning earlier, and the reason they do that is because all of the utilities are within the city boundary. So one of the theories to deal with this difficulty in housing is to make our cities more dense. So this is a cottage code that came down from an architect in Portland called Ross Chapin. And what you do is the houses face inward. So if you see behind those houses, that's where the street is, that's where the parking is. So when you come home, you walk into your back door and you walk out, and your deck faces these common areas. And this is one of the common areas. We have we also have a community garden and a pond in this particular one.
And how many homes are there?
22.
Gotcha. Now, are they set up in pods?
So this is, they're called clusters. So there's 4 clusters. Okay. They're kind of half circles. that all face into a common area, and that's actually written into the code. That's part of the code. You have to have common area, and it's really meant to bring people together as a community as well. We've designed 3-bedroom, 2 baths forever because it used to be that the buyers of houses were a couple and some kids, and now over 50% of the buyers are single people. So there just isn't the houses for that demographic. So I think that's why this did so well and sold out so quickly.
Right.
But this is so we have 3 different models, and that's another part of our business plan is we only do 3 models. We do the loft, which is the one that the 600 square foot model that we did in the original Hiatus. Then we have the Bower. That's the 2-bedroom one that we're doing in another development. And then we have what's called the Flat, which is the micro apartment. So I'll show you. We're also really into trying to be as efficient as possible as far as reducing our carbon footprint. And we do this without trying to drive the cost of the houses up. It's really simple to add a little bit more insulation, concentrate on your windows and your building envelope. And just doing that, and then just reducing the footprint of the house in general really does wonders for making these houses more green. A lot of our houses are net zero, meaning that the solar that's on top of them supplies enough energy for the house itself. We've won some awards, which is awesome. And then you can kind of see the community garden there in the back.
Yeah, that's a great idea too, having the raised community garden like that. Awesome.
Yeah, and people use it, and they get to know each other, and it's really been neat to see that community kind of come together and have these mostly single people getting to know each other. Actually, there's been 2 couples that have come out of that development. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting.
And interesting, it started with an argument. That hot pepper is too close to my tomato.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Stop looking in my windows. Oh, wait, maybe I want you to. Yeah. So, so yeah, that was Hiatus Benham. That's the 22 homes. We're in the middle of Hiatus Roanoke, which is our new 2-bedroom, 2 bath. And so that's about 900 square feet. We just kept hearing from people that, had kids or a partner, and they just said, God, if I had 1 more bedroom and 1 more bathroom and a garage, I'd really be into what you guys are doing. So we basically took that 600 square foot house and we added 2 bedrooms and a garage and a bathroom to it. And that's Hiatus Roanoke. We're halfway through that. We have 5 of the houses are sold or in contract. We started our price point, I think, at $778. And the last house went into contract. It was a bidding war, and it's in contract at $832,500. So it's been unbelievable. It's been unbelievable to see that. I think I got into this more altruistically, and then really discovered how important being successful financially it is for the business, because it just really means that we can do more. And I really believe in the free market. So, we don't do affordable housing where we get grants at this point. We just make the houses smaller, and then by design, they're a little bit cheaper than what's out there.
Right.
Hiatus Rosa. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm talking so much here.
No, that's all right. I was just going to mention that model will work in all parts of the country. And while you're getting really high dollar in Oregon for them, you might get half of that amount in other places, but they're still smaller and affordable to build. So you're still going to have decent margin, just depending on what part of the country.
Are you thinking of taking this to other areas?
Absolutely. I mean, we've really built. I feel like the company has grown really organically, and I think that's something that Ryan and I really believe in, is that we're not going to get over our skis, as we say out here in Oregon, by pressing and trying to get too many projects going. We've the Hiatus, the first one, that was a three years of my life of blood, sweat, and tears to get that thing going. Now I have Ryan with me. We have a construction manager. We've really grown. But our plan is to continue to do this in Bend, and then get into what we call the Mountain West, which is like Washington, Oregon, Idaho. And then we believe that if we keep doing this right, it's just going to get more efficient for building, and our marketing. We have a really great marketing guy too. So I feel like we're hoping to really spread this around, because this is a national problem, but we're not going to, I don't think that we want to grow in a way where all of a sudden we have 50 developments going. We want to grow really naturally. And so far that's really worked for us. So I can still spend some time with my family as well. So
that's right. That's
it
important.
to be a lot of work.
So what's the Roosevelt?
Yes, Roosevelt. This one we are just about to start pushing dirt on. This we actually took the 2-bedroom and the cottage and we put them together. So are you guys familiar with ADUs or accessory dwelling units out there?
Yes.
Like yes. I think they call it a mother-in-law sometimes. So if you look at this, there's 7 lots here, and most of them, 5 of them have the 2-bedroom as a main house, and then they have the cottage as an ADU. And then 2 of the lots, because of the way it was configured, just have 2-bed on it. So that one, we're going to start moving dirt. We've already started getting our building plans in. So that's basically just a new project in the sense that we combined kind of the other 2 that we did in the other 2 developments. And that's that's a way for someone to get a bit of a house, because they're getting rental income from either of the houses. So that's really worked really well out here. So I'm excited to get this thing going too.
Awesome. And then the micro apartment.
Yeah. So this is a really interesting thing. And, my job in the last years has been working with the city council and working with groups and really trying to press the code, trying to make sure that we can continue to do the types of building that we're doing. One of the big issues is, while they allow us to get more density, the permitting is still, the building permit is still really expensive. So our little 600 square foot house, we have to pay the city system development charges of $30,000. If you're building a 10,000 square foot house, it's the same $30,000. So the percentage of our cost for the building permit, it's really high. So I've been working with the city, and they're looking at reducing the SDCs for us. Our buildings are so much smaller, and the impact is so low. But for instance, on the micro apartment, if we're assessed as a regular building, it's about $1 million in SDCs, but the city looks like they're going to reduce that by half. So, it's a $500,000 savings, which is a huge deal on these.
Wow. That's amazing. So I don't want to run out of time. I want to make sure that you can talk a little bit about your fund and how people can learn more about it. Yeah.
So let me just show you. It's in the best way to get this information too is to go to our website, hiatushomes.com, and you can sign up and you'll get sent this deck so you can look through it. And then we do webinars every quarter, a couple webinars every quarter, where we really go into the details of it. Ryan and I get on there and describe it and ask questions, and I'm always up for a phone call too. We're small enough that I like to connect with people, but the best way to really do it is to go onto our website, and then you'll get sent the deck. But basically what we're doing, as I explained earlier, is using the fund to purchase land and then get the infrastructure done and really have the lots ready. So if something does happen, we're able to sell the lots, but mostly what we do is we go from the dirt to the house and sell the house. So if you come into our capital fund, all of the projects that are in the fund, 2 of them that are in there now are Roosevelt and the micro apartment. The fund owns that property and owns that land. So it's kind of like stocks. Like if you come into the fund, we have a minimum of $50,000 investment. You have to be an accredited investor. You come into that. The nice thing is you can look up on our county website and see that the fund owns that property. So as a fund, if you're in our fund, you're with us on owning the property. And the basic split is, we develop the land. When we sell the houses, the profit that comes back, we split it into 50-50. 50% goes to all of our fund holders, and 50% comes back into our company. And the nice thing about the fund is, as we liquidate these projects, the distribution goes back to the investors, and then we keep the principals in there. I mean, after 2 years, you can get your principal out if you want to, do that. That's no problem. But if you keep your principal in, the idea is we'll be able to expand and really build on the growth of both the investment dollars that have come in, as well as the the developments and we're targeting a pretty high percentage. You know, we are not greedy, and we want to be in line with our investors, and so that's why we did the 50-50. And you know, we're targeting anywhere from 16 to 24% return on investment. Obviously, I forget what you're supposed to say when this past gains doesn't,
your mileage may vary.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for doing that for me. I'm pretty new to that. Ryan will be I hope you have Ryan on, because he can go much deeper into this, but we think it's a really great fund. We're about $1.5 million right now. We need to get up to about 3.5 million in the next year or so, and then from there we'll just continue to add investors to the fund and expand our developments. So
awesome. That is really awesome.
There it is. Thank you
so much. Thank you so much for sharing.
So to be clear, this is not an offer to buy or sell any securities. That This is educational purposes only. You must read the PPM before investing. Consult your financial advisor, and like Wendy said, your mileage may vary.
I'm gonna go back and transcribe that so I have the right language.
What you're doing, that's an awesome model. It really is.
Thank you.
And
it's cool. Really cool.
I know you initially started it off to, you know, kind of help with the affordable side of things, and then it turned into, I would call it, it is a niche, but it's more of a boutique type of a home, and it's really cool looking, and it's something people want to get into, and they don't mind not having the big giant yard to have to deal with, and you still have that community feel.
So you hit the people downsizing as well, and I think that's really cool that you're really hitting two separate markets on that.
And you're smart with going to the municipalities and trying to get a lot of those fees reduced, because they're the ones that are always pushing, we need more affordable housing. Well, you don't allow us to have affordable housing if you're charging us the same that you're going to charge for a much larger
We're getting over
project.
Our time.
Okay.
We're
all right.
Get in
well,
trouble.
we're going to get slapped. All right. Jesse, thank you so much for sharing.
That's been awesome.
If anybody wants any information, you're considering investing, or maybe you want to buy one of the houses, would you mind pulling up Hiatus Homes again?
There
you go. Just go to that website. We'll also leave it in the show notes as well, and should be there on the side. Thanks everybody for joining the show. This is the Passive Wealth Show. Bill Fairman here, Wendy Sweet. We are Carolina Capital Management. We are lenders in the Southeast for real estate investors only. Go to our website, carolinahardmoney.com. If you're a borrower, click on the Apply Now tab. If you're a passive investor, click on the Accredited Investor tab. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe, hit the button, and we will see you guys on the next show. Have a great week.
Thanks.